Hey friends, I did something that I have never done before on this channel. I made a video over 3 weeks ago that I was really excited to publish and to share with you all because I had been going through a journey of trying to find some answers to a specific health problem, and I found the answer and it worked immediately, and I was so excited to share with you all. But then I thought, no, I think I should sit on it a little bit. I need to give it a little bit more time to make sure that what I wanted to share with you was continuing to work. So now it has been over 3 weeks and such tremendous progress, such good results that I thought, okay, it's time. I really have such a passion of sharing what I've learned because, hey, maybe you're in the same stage of life as me. We're, middle age. I'm going to turn 53 next month, and aging is just at some points not really all that fun, but it's part of life. And as our body changes and things change, sometimes we just really have to learn more about what we can do to help ourselves. So come sit down over here with me. We're going to chat some more about it. And then as soon as we finish talking, Dan is going to show you how to make what's been working for me. I had started to wonder if aging caused in any way the slowdown of our GI systems. I wasn't sure, but that's certainly what seemed to be happening. I'd been miserable for months. I was nauseous often, loss of appetite. At night, it seemed like my dinner had just kind of laid on my stomach for hours and would come up into my esophagus and as if it had not digested at all. And I just couldn't figure this out because I'd never had any of these problems before. I tried everything I could think of: aloe juice, frequent small meals, not eating or drinking past 6 p.m., all the typical lifestyle changes, being careful that trigger foods were something I just didn't ever eat at dinner. I tried everything I could think of, and it really was not helping me at all. We went to an herb festival, and in the midst of my struggle, I thought, I'm gonna check around with some of these herbalists and see if they have any thoughts on what my trouble might be. And I had some fantastic conversations. They did verify that indeed, as we age, we can at times have a slowdown of the digestive enzymes, less of a production of the stomach acid, and also as we age, a lessening of our stomach emptying time. So I thought, okay, well, I guess it's really good to know that. So what should I do? And the answer from all of them was bitters. Now I have to admit, I didn't love the answer because I don't love bitter things. I don't eat bitter. I don't love sour. Oh, savory is the best. And a little bit of sweet here and there with dark chocolate. But I don't consume bitters in my diet. So when they started to explain to me how crucial bitters are to our digestive system, given all the trouble I'd had, I thought, okay, I'm listening. Learning about what has been done throughout history is such a fascinating thing for me, and here is what I learned about bitters. Throughout thousands of years, when people did not have refrigeration, they used preservation methods. So when the cold months were approaching, they would start to preserve their meats, to store away their grains, knowing that throughout the long winter, especially in the cold places, that they wouldn't have fresh fruits or vegetables. So they had a heavier diet throughout the winter time, consuming those preserved foods and grains. Then come springtime, in the early spring months, that's when bitters start to grow. So people would forage for those and eat those, and it would get their digestive system running again and back in peak shape. And then they would spend the warm-up months eating the fruits and vegetables. So that is just so fascinating to me, how the earth can provide what you need at just the right time. And I wanted to learn all about that because I had no idea. So essentially what bitters do is raise the production of our digestive enzymes so that our digestion happens more quickly and effectively, our stomach empties more quickly and effectively. So bottom line is we've got to get more bitters into our diet. Now there are different ways to do that. So I'm going to put a list up on the screen right now of wild plants and herbs that we can forage. That's a great free option. One of the things you'll see on there is the dandelion, common to probably almost everybody. It is unfortunately past dandelion season here. It's the lovely buttercup season, but I missed that. When I was at the herb festival and learned all of this, dandelion season here was over. So next time around when dandelions pop up here and there, I'm gonna forage for those because dandelions are a fantastic plant. First thing that probably anybody would think of as far as what a bitter is, because the dandelion is good for the leaves, the blooms, and the roots. The whole plant is fantastic, and it is bitter. But what is growing right now here on our property all over, and definitely all over in our zone right now this time of the year, is dock. It's called yellow dock, or another name for it is curly dock. Here's a picture of what dock looks like as it's growing, the curly or yellow dock kind. There are other varieties. Dan's also going to use that in just a few minutes to make a tincture, so you'll really be able to see that up close as he's working with it. So the bottom line with the foraging idea is that you must forage knowledgeably and responsibly. We use an app every time we go out to look for things so that we know for sure that the plant we have identified is actually what it is. That's important for our safety, for only consuming things that are consumable for humans, and also do some online research to find out what parts of each plant you're foraging are safe to use. Because you've got roots, you've got stems, leaves, and blooms of any one plant, and sometimes we can consume all of it, sometimes we can only consume parts of it. So do some online research if you want to go the foraging route. If foraging is not so much your thing, I understand. I'm going to put up on the screen right now a list of things that you can get at the grocery store or at your local farmer's market, things that you can easily find and consume as far as fruits and vegetables that are considered bitters. Even apple cider vinegar is a bitter if you don't mind adding that more to your recipes, or drink it straight even like Dan does. But I hope that that also is helpful for you to consider ways that you can get bitters into your diet. So to wrap up my part of the story, at the herb festival, I bought a bitters tincture. I really wanted fast and effective relief, and I thought I'm gonna give this a shot, and I am so glad that I did, because I am now 100%. My gut health has returned to normal. 4 weeks later now, having taken that bitters tincture twice a day, I feel great during the day. I'm back to normal eating. I am sleeping all night. How encouraging is it to find a quick solution to a problem you've been having? That's why we work to build a good community around us of people who have the expertise and the knowledge to tell us about all natural remedies, things that the earth provides for us, because we love to live that way. And so I hope that this has been encouraging and helpful for you as well with your gut health. I'm going to turn it over now to Dan. He's going to teach you how to make a tincture. I did not make the one, obviously, that I've been using. I bought that, but here are the ingredients of the one I bought. Dan is going to teach you how to make a simpler one, but we do make a lot of tinctures here on the farm. Super helpful in harnessing the healing power of any particular herb or plant. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I wish you the best of health.
Creating a tincture is a lot easier than you might think. It really is just two things: an alcohol that is 80 proof or more, and whatever plant or herb material that you want to put into the alcohol in order to infuse all of the benefits of that plant into the alcohol itself. You can make tinctures out of a lot of different things. I have every year make a cayenne tincture. I basically put whole cayenne peppers in the mason jar, cover it with my vodka alcohol, and let it sit for 6 to 8 weeks, and I get the goodness of the cayenne in that alcohol. I've heard of people doing even spinach in a tincture to be able to infuse the benefits of the spinach into the alcohol. But today we're going to do dox. And Heidi had mentioned that she did an off-the-shelf product that she trusts, but it's really satisfying to do your own medicinals. And if we have the resources around, why not? So I actually went out this morning and I dug up some dox, and you can see these things get awfully huge. The root is almost like a carrot, and this needs to be cleaned off, of course. But the thing gets very monstrous if you let it. It gets these seeds on top. The medicinals are in the root, in the leaves, and in the seeds, but the ones we're going to focus on today are the root. So what I'll do is I'll clean these up, and they'll look like this, basically chunks of the root. They're a lot like carrots, and you can actually peel them a lot like carrots if you want to use a peeler to get some of the hard skin off. I'm actually not going to use a peeler. What I'm going to do, and I have my alcohol here, I'm just going to dice up these roots in very small chunks and put them in the alcohol. And there you have it. I have sliced up the dock and I've put it in the vodka. It's completely covered so none of it is exposed. When you're using roots or leaves or other fresh product, a 1-to-1 ratio of alcohol to product is a good ratio to have. But when you're maybe using powders that you've purchased, you want a 5-to-1 ratio. Those powders are fine and more exposed, so you get more complete infusion quicker, and so you'll need less of it. And that is a fine thing. So 5-to-1 on that is great. A couple of things about tinctures in general. When you make a tincture, you want to leave it on the shelf in a cool and dry place for about 6 to 8 weeks for full infusion. After that, you can bring it off the shelf and use it immediately. I will oftentimes take the jar and use that as my stock, and then I will put some in a dropper bottle and be able to use it small amounts at a time. And I put droppers full in orange juice or water, whatever, depending. You can put a little bit under your tongue if you wanted to start that way, 3 to 5 drops once a day. Of course, because dox are bitters, it might be a bitter taste, and you might need to put it in a little bit of water to start to get used to it. After that, you can use more and more every day until you feel comfortable. Even half a dropper full twice or 3 times a day is fine. For the most part with herbs, the medicine in them is not toxic in high levels, and so you can't really overdose on that type of thing. The only exception to that is nursing and pregnant mothers want to be very careful when using any herbal remedy. And of course, any alcohol tincture would be off limits anyway. When you forage for plants and herbs for your tinctures, if you don't know where it has come from, that's not a good thing. When you forage, you want to make sure to know if fertilizers or pesticides or herbicides have been used in that area. Because these plants, they will soak up those chemicals in the roots and in the leaves, and of course that will end up in your tincture. A good example for us is willow bark. We make willow bark tincture. It's a natural aspirin. And one thing about willow, though, is that it lives in marshy areas, wet areas, and typically it's a natural filter that just sucks up everything into its roots, and that includes the chemicals. So I'm very careful when I do foraging for willow bark that I do it in a place that I know doesn't have any of those chemicals in the area. But if you have a homestead that's organic, you can just go outside into your yard or along your fence line and easily pick any of these things that can be used in this. I'm so proud of Heidi for sharing some of her journey on her health issues today, because I know that she would love for you to know the things that she's been learning so they can help you as well. Whether it's tinctures or whether it's purchased powders or something like that, getting those bitters in your body can really help with your whole digestive thing, especially as we age. We're glad to be able to share all of this with you today, and from our homestead to yours, blessings.